my last portion here, which is going to be about shelf edge strategy and get credit for value, our next round of get credit for value, and the strategies around the shelf edge signage. We're not going to take the full rest of the hour that we have left, so just so you know, we'll get done a little bit early, unless there's a lot of questions on this. But so basically, when we're talking about get credit for value, the key objectives we want to talk about today are know why we've implemented this program. I'm sure you're all pretty familiar with get credit for value now at this point. Is there anybody who's not familiar with get credit for value? And the sign tags around price breaks and new lower price, those kinds of things? No? Okay. It's a 2020 vision driver, so given that we have so many Pinnacle stores in the group, I figured that you would even know about the program already. So we'll talk a little bit about why we implemented the program, understand the improvements. So we are, they're kind of calling it Get Credit for Value 2.0 right now, but we've revamped the program to make it more tailored and specific to the needs of retailers and customers, and make it a little bit easier to implement. Recognize what the offer means to you and your customers. I think that's the key piece, is what kind of questions are you going to get, or what are the conversations you're going to have with customers about the new signs. Distinguish between what it means to be platinum or pinnacle. So if you aren't platinum yet, how to be, or aren't pinnacle yet, how do you become that? And then the key dates for the new program. So really, the reason why ACE developed this whole signage strategy, this shelf edge strategy at the product level, is a number of reasons, and all the reasons why what we're very familiar with, right? Price transparency has become huge in the retail marketplace. Consumers are smarter than ever when it comes to understanding what the price of an item should be. They have apps on their phone, like Red Laser and other scanning apps that will tell them instantaneously what the price of an item is. And there is some acceptance within our retail market that ACE can be higher priced on items because of the level of convenience we offer and the level of help that we offer. Right? We have a value proposition to our customers that's above price. We are known for our help and our customer service, and customers understand that we're going to be a little bit more expensive a lot of times than a big box or a mass merchant like a Walmart. But there's a threshold with that, and there's a threshold that that we can reach where we come out of that price range, and then we get this tag around, oh, they are too expensive, I can't go shop at ACE, even though we might only have been more expensive on certain items. So we are constantly looking at ways that we level that price perception for the customer, and like Dean said, without just dropping prices, right? Without just cutting our margin, we need to do it in a prescriptive way and the right way. And so Get Credit for Value was our starting point, or our answer to that with our customers. And the other reason we're doing it is because most other retailers are. I mean, if you walk into any retail outlet today, you're going to find some type of shelf edge strategy around their signage and what they're communicating to the customer. So you walk into a Walgreens or a CVS, they have signage calling out their pricing. You walk into any type of grocery store, they're going to be calling out, what their low prices are, or that they're offering you a great value, right? Or that they may be calling out some other messages, like the specialty offerings that they offer. Grocery, for instance, gluten-free has become a big message at the shelf edge, right? Give me the value proposition of what you're offering me that another retailer is not. So that's really what drove Get Credit for Value several years ago. I apologize if this is a little bit difficult to see. On that right-hand side, when we talked about the objectives and the strategy of the program, the objectives are really to improve our price image, to increase our units per transaction. So it was not just lower price. It was we need to increase the amount of items of that item, in that particular item, just like Dean said, that go into the basket. So the hose clamp example of buying 4 at a time, we wanted to increase the amount that a customer would purchase from us and build that basket quicker. And then the final thing was increase gross margin dollars. So looking at, can we drop certain things but increase the overall gross margin dollars by how much we're driving on that product. And then the strategy to employ that was really 3 things. One, get consumers aware of the fact that we're doing this by putting signage at the shelf level, right? Call it out on the product when they're there or when they're at the end cap. Make it an awareness level to the customer, and make it a talking point. The second thing was highlight incremental unit upsells. So the stock up and save proposition. Don't just buy 1 bottle of that caulk, buy 4 bottles of it so you have it for your upcoming projects, and you're going to end up saving money. Those types of strategies around the commonly sold items that were commonly sold in multiples. Can we up the consumer to buy a couple more and so that they end up stocking up on that item and driving additional gross profit dollars. And then the last piece of it, or the last opportunity we had, was to highlight the ACE brand and really the quality and the value proposition it offers to our customers. Our ACE branded product is unique in that it is as or better than the national brand, and it's at a better offering to the customer from our price perception. So how do we highlight that ACE is the place? Because we have another option for you, Mr. Customer walking into the store. What really drove the next round of this program is this. This should not look unfamiliar to what your store looks like at the shelf level. And what's funny about this is our laboratory store, and we put up all the signage that gets sold on a regular basis, or that gets sent to you through your ad kits on a regular basis. And if we implemented everything exactly how it said, this is what it would look like in one little teeny tiny section. I mean, what does that say to the customer? That says, I'm trying to throw a whole bunch of messages at you, and the customer's probably looking at it going, I have no idea what you're trying to tell me. There's just a lot happening right here. And so what we said was, we are causing confusion. We're not helping to simplify it to the customer, we're causing confusion. And if you add in and layer in the fact that this is all current signage, what if you have old signage up there that you haven't taken down? Then we're really causing confusion because there are so many messages being hit to the customer. So this new strategy really looked at what are the key messages, what does the consumer expect at the shelf level, and what should we be telling them, and what stays elsewhere in the store. So when we talk about, like the Valspar message, for instance, the Valspar message is not a shelf level. It's not related to a particular product on that shelf, and therefore is completely irrelevant to the customer from when they're standing there. So we've created a new visual communications guide that helps outline the different areas where we have key messages to the customers. Helps drive the customers to understand where we're going to be communicating these different messages with them. So this is not just a shelf edge strategy, it's a holistic store strategy. And if you want to learn more information about the whole store strategy when you come to the show, stop by the Discovery Edge area and pick up a new visual communications guide, because it really will help when you look at the different zones and where customers look for information. Today we're going to talk about shelf edge and how we clean that up. So the team that was centered around this said, okay, how do we solve this problem, and what messages get to go and get to play in this area? And the store environment team partnered with Roberta, who handles the Get Credit for Value program, and the pricing team. And they also partnered with our marketing group and said, this is just as much of a permanent signage issue as it is as a marketing signage issue. We send all these pieces of marketing material down in your promotional kit, and we don't have a really integrated strategy about what we're communicating to the customer. So everyone bought in and said, we really do need to clean this up. It needs to be better, and it needs to be more intentional, and we're all going to get on board with that. So our new program is really clean and uncluttered. It is forward-facing as well as side-facing, so that you can see it in the aisles. And so I have a couple examples of the tags up here, and after we're done talking, you can come up and take a look at them. But they face forward, and then they also face the customer in the side. So when you're walking down the aisle, the main message is also visible from the main aisle as you walk down the aisle, and the category, which we felt was really important, and the customer said it was really important. Don't just tell me it when I'm there. Let me kind of see what messages are available to me as I walk down the aisle. So there, it will illustrate for you how you can see them as you're walking down the aisle, and then when you're faced on the signage as well. And so this slide, when we talk about the things that we learned when we developed the next kit, this is really the kind of the matrix of the things that we did to improve the program. So there's improved signage. We're talking about the new signage both visible head-on and down the aisle. The signage is more durable. So one of the things that we heard loud and clear about the Get Credit for Value program in the past were that the tags were flimsy, they fell off, they faded, they were just not good quality tags. And when we talk about that, one of the things that kind of led us to pick what we did initially was the cost. And as we developed the new program, we said, we need to spend some money in terms of getting the right material so that they last. And so we partnered with R.R. Donnelly, who's our in-house printer, and said, we need a better product than what we originally got. Find us a better product and keep the cost the same. And so this is the new product. You can feel them. They are very durable tags that are going to last a very long time. The color scheme as well. The previous color scheme didn't really match any of the other signage in our stores. And originally that was intentional. We didn't want it to match the other signs in our stores. We wanted it to stick out. We wanted it to look different. The challenge with that was it looked too different. And the resounding feedback from retailers was it just looks weird in my store. It doesn't look like it fits. So the new program really integrates a very simple color scheme, 3-4 colors maximum, and integrates with the ACE colors overall. We simplified the setup and the maintenance of the program. So how many of you use dynamic promotions today to get programs? Great. So the new Get Credit for Value 2.0, everything gets downloaded into your system via dynamic promotions. So there will be a patch that will be available very soon that will clear out all of your past Get Credit for Value assignments. And then when you use if you're on Epicor 22.1, the dynamic promotions patch down will load all of the new offers. So it's a lot simpler than it used to be in the past to get everything set up in the system. We heard that loud and clear as well, that it was too difficult in the past to manage. The only challenge, I will say, the caveat to that is if you have any custom ones or any custom things that you do through Mango or even through Margin Master, none of the custom stuff will come down, so you'll have to manually clear that out. But everything else, the main sign-ups will come down through the dynamic promotions. As well as all the signage will be the same size. So they all look exactly the same, this style, and there's only 10 offers or 10 variations. In the past, we had multiple variations of different offers, and now there's only 10 variations, so it's a very simple program. And the marketing team is employing this as well. So the marketing tag for any Red Hot Buy items or any price-pointed items is a thin yellow tag. I think we go back here for a second and I can highlight what it looks like. It is this tag right here is a little tiny, but it's a yellow tag as well. Same with right here for your Red Hot Buy items and your price pointed items. So that again it coordinates. Any items on sale will be that yellow color. It all coordinates together. We refined the messaging. So we'll get into this a little bit more in the next slide. But we refined the messaging and the offers for customers and made them a little bit more appealing to them. And then the better integration. So the future is within the next, before the end of the year, we're going to have new integrated end cap signage that will include these messages in this color scheme. And it'll be part of, like I said, the broader visual communication strategy. So that VisCom guide includes this shelf out strategy. So we really looked at it holistically. When we talk about the new offers, the very first one, low price, great value. This is the, used to be the everyday low price, I believe it was the everyday low price tag. This is what you would use for your key value items. Those items that are highly price sensitive, right? That the competition is drilling in your head that you need to be at this price point to be competitive. That's where you would use this everyday low price great value tag, right? You want to shout to your customer that you are matching pricing on the big boxes, and we have that price value proposition. So again, KVI items, the key value items in your store. The next offer, stay with ACE brand products, quality since 1924. Again, when we talk about the value proposition that ACE offers from our brand, really shouting that to the customer, highlighting that. Instead of the old compare and save message, now we're highlighting the quality that you get from the ACE brand. The new lower price, just reduced tag. This is a really important one, especially when you think about what we're doing from a zone pricing perspective. So we've made a concerted effort at ACE to become more price sensitive on the items that matter, right? The things that are driving value proposition in your store. And it's important, as Dean was saying, it's important to call that out to customers. When you do lower a price because you need to be more competitive, when you are lowering a price to the consumer because you want to show them a great value, it's important to call that out so that they know you've made a concerted effort. And so we have this new offer tag that's new lower price, just reduced. One of the things that sometimes comes up at this point is the question around, should we be calling that out? You know, does it do us a disservice by saying, oh, I was overpriced on this and now I'm calling it out to you that I've lowered my price? And realistically, the answer to that is no. The customer doesn't really care. They're not that forward thinking or even that backwards thinking around that you previously had a different price, because everywhere in the marketplace is calling this out today. So we've all kind of become very immune to lower pricing, and in this case, it makes sense for us to offer that proposition to our customers. The next one is the stock up and save, buy X and save. So in the past, with credit for value, we had multiple variations of this tag. So there was buy 4 and save 20%. There was buy 10 and save 15%. They all varied depending on the SKU. We've streamlined and consolidated that to make it much easier and much simpler to implement. And so now every offer is a save 10%. And so the pricing team has done all of the research on which SKUs it makes the most sense, so that, like Dean was saying, you don't monopolize on something that you're not, getting the turns that you need to take care of that gross margin dollars. So everything is at 10%, and then we only have 4 quantity offers. So it's buy 4 and save 10%, buy 6 and save 10%, buy 10 and save 10%, or buy 12. So depending on the case and what's relevant for the quantity, there are only now 4 different variations of that. So again, streamlining it, making it easier to implement overall. The next 3 are completely new to the shelf edge strategy. And so again, not necessarily a part of Get Credit for Value. All the Get Credit for Value tags are red. These ones you'll see are orange and yellow. But a part of this overall shelf edge strategy. So when we're communicating to the customer, we are communicating at a product level. We're communicating at what's happening to this particular product. So we've added these 3 messages. Sale, again, a sale price or a temporary price, meant for something, if it's specific to your store, you're running a manager special on it, you're doing something unique in your store, to use that sale tag to highlight it that it's a temporary price, not something that's a permanent markdown in the store. New item. So calling out those great new items that you brought into your store. In the past, we've never really done a very good job of this in highlighting. As Dean and I were talking about earlier, bringing it out to the end cap and featuring that you've got a new end cap or you've got a new item in the store. Now, once you bring it back in line, or even on the end cap, but back in line, putting the tag on it to say this is a new item for us, and making sure that you're refreshing that so that you keep your customers interested in the new items that you're bringing on. And then the last one, which we definitely have never offered before, which is a very exciting offering for us now, is a closeout tag. And it's strategically built so that you can have a was and a now pricing on it. So that as you're closing out items in line, you can really highlight those closeout items to your customers and move that inventory out. Questions on the offers or any of the tags?
How prescriptive will ACE be on those? So will they say this month you're going to put up these and take down these, or is it left to the retailer to determine that's been a new item long enough?
The new items is going to be probably on the retailer side. I don't believe we have a real big strategy on that. Now, I will say we are going to be integrating, so on our planograms today, anytime it's a new item for the updates of the planogram, we shade the SKU page gray so that you can tell which items were new to that planogram. So that's one way to identify new items in your store if you're following planograms pretty regularly. But then the rest of that would really be on the retailer side. And I would caution it to don't overuse these tags. I mean, you want to, like we've talked about before, be very prescriptive about where you use them and highlight the items that you really want to showcase to your customer, or pick out a couple in a brand new set. So again, walking through your store yesterday, we were talking with Alina, one of her managers, and she was saying, we brought in this category of expanded canning and brought in the high-end canning jars and stuff. And so putting a couple of those new item tags in that set, even if the whole set's new, just calling out a couple of the key items will get the customer's attention that there's something new here to offer. So yeah, I think the new item and closeout side, all that stuff's going to be on the retailer to manage. On the Get Credit for Value side, so all the red tags, that will be managed by ACE Corporate. We will be telling you, and patching down via dynamic promotions all the changes. And so that's one update where it'll be a lot easier now to feed those changes as opposed to in the past where we've had to go in your system and change everything. It's going to be a lot more prescriptive now and a lot more of a push down effect, which is great. It's a lot easier to manage that way.
On the offers, so you said that 10% will be 10% across the board.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't sound like enough as a consumer to make me buy multiple. Does it, I mean, you guys, you really have much more science behind this than me anecdotally as a consumer, but that seems low.
I'm gonna have to take that question back to the group because I'm not sure what led them to that. All I know is there was a lot of confusion around what offer was right and what, a lot of confusion at the register then when it came to ringing things out, around that promotion. And so I know they did a lot of research around how do we make this a little bit better, but the actual percentage, I'm not sure how they came to that, so I will take that back as an action item.
It sounds low to me off the cuff.
Well, and again, it kind of goes back to Dean's point though too around, we weren't seeing the type of volume hits that we had somewhat expected with those tags, and we didn't know if it was necessarily one, not being implemented properly, or two, just not being well received by the customer. And so we didn't want to just jump into these huge discounts and erode margin at at really no benefit. But at the same time, it has to be enough of a compelling deal to make somebody consider that, right? So I will take that back as a question, though we didn't find that around that. And it's a great point. Anything else on the offers? Any other questions on the offers? No? Good. Seems like good enhancements overall, a better strategy for those of you who have Get Credit for Value right now. Okay, so if you already are signed up for Get Credit for Value, I want to take 2 seconds on this because the program is a little bit different the way we're rolling it out now than we have in the past. If you already are a Get Credit for Value retailer, I have a list up here too, so after we're done, if you want to come see me and chat about it, I can look you up. But if you are a Get Credit for Value retailer, you actually have to opt out of not being sent the new kit. And the reason we did that was because there are so many retailers who want to be on the next update of this that we would have been entering way more information by saying, yep, here's all the people who want it versus here's all the people who don't want it. So we've asked if you don't want the new kit, you can come see me and opt out, or you can call the care center and they will opt you out of it. The overall total kit cost is $250 for the whole new kit. That is our cost. We don't mark it up in any way, shape, or form. We just produce it and send it out. So that is the overall cost for the new tags, and you'll be auto-billed that. So again, if you don't want to be, you need to come and opt out with me. And then from that point, to reach the levels in 2020 Vision, the requirements are, to be platinum, you had to have purchased the Get Credit for Value 2.0 kit. To reach Pinnacle, you actually have to execute the program, put up the tags, accept the dynamic promotions, go through the whole motion to set everything up. And then keep up with the quarterly changes. So we will be sending them quarterly changes. It won't be monthly or bi-monthly. Everything's done on the quarterly schedule. And then if you aren't a Get Credit for Value store yet and you want to sign up for the new kit, you can go on Ace Brand Place and the order item number is right there. If you want to be included in the May launch, so the kit will be sent sometime between the end of April or early May. And this is just the milestone calendar of when things happen. Like I said, late April, early May. Quarterly updates will begin after the May 19th date. And then if you want to opt out, you need to opt out by March 31st. So this is just our checkpoint of the things that we covered in this program. Yeah?
So I manage our graphics and whatnot for the group as a whole. And I know we get like campaign guidelines and like a PDF of the things that are being advertised. Will there be any kind of guidelines for the signage? Like
Yes, so there will be an execution guide that will talk about all the guidelines around it.
Okay, so we'll want to make sure that it's kind of clear.
Yes.
And will that be available on AceNet?
Yes. It'll be available on AceNet. I want to say the execution guide, they're trying to get it out. They were piloting the program next week with the pilots to learn more about what they need in the execution guide, and then they were assembling the execution guide, so probably before the end of the month. They're hoping to have it done by the shelves. So it'll be very soon, but before the end of the month, there'll be an execution guide on how to, take down the old and put up the new process.
Because I'm guessing with like the new signs or how they're going to be labeling their hot lines and hot whatever, that is going to mirror the advertising.
Yes.
So it'll look similar.
Yeah. Yep. So all of that will be a part of the execution guide. No, that's a great question.
Oh, and then I have one other question. Didn't go over it in too much detail, but with end caps, I know a lot of retailers are saying that you used to do like the seasonal end caps for
So that is, I believe in the promo guide moving forward, that is part of it. So the end cap sign will have the red hat high price, and then when you flip it over, either a generic message or your normal retail cost or normal retail price on it, so that you can advertise it at the normal retail, whatever your cap, other than one cap is actually. Yeah, that's a standard moving forward. And I would encourage you, we'll get you a Viscom guide for the new visual communication so that you kind of have a structure and how you tailor messages and where the appropriate message belongs. But that's always a really great thing to go back to your store and take a look at is what messages am I sending at what level, within my store and at what point. Any other questions? Thank you guys. I know it's been a long day. And it doesn't look like it's snowing still from what I can see in the little sliver of the day, but I appreciate all the time and effort that you put into today. So thank you.